All right, welcome aboard, everybody. This is Steve at Thousand Year Home. So out here, I'm just solo building, and this is a real world build. There's not, bank money and a whole bunch of money. I'm building from paycheck to paycheck, just like they did 50 years ago. So, and I can only build so much at a time. So when you come visit me, I'm homesteading. I'm building these shipping containers. They're looking pretty good inside, but I'm slow, which is an honest approach, especially here in Texas, where the heat and the drought has been something fierce. And but it rained last night, and it rained really solidly. It kept me up all night long, so I'm a little tired. But let's go ahead and walk around today, see how successful the rain has been or not. The horses are up; they're showing me that they're muddy as all get out, so they've at least got a little cooling off. Let's take a look. Okay, let's real quick just show you what's going on so you can get an idea as I drive around. So, uh, right here, you see there's the farm. This is a satellite image that's about a year old. So, there's the shipping containers. What I've done today is I've driven you up to this stock pond, which was dry. So this one was mostly dry. And we've taken a look at some other things. First off, on this particular satellite image, if I scroll in, it doesn't even have the pond that I built right here with here where first off, let me scroll in a little bit. So right here is the pond that I went ahead and just dug and put the bridge over. So from the house walking over, now I have this little pond right in here in this woods. There is the two gardens that I have right there. So there's the gardens. So you'll see that I've done a lot of water management already. So let me go ahead and zoom back out for y'all so you can see the complete property. So the couple of different things that I'm doing here. So one thing that I'm doing is I'm building a swale that will run through here. Let me go ahead and just get brown on that. So this swale runs through here, and I'm trying to pick up the water out of this area. So I've got a little swale coming out here, and it goes down and it goes all the way up to here. So you can see that this area, if you look at it closely, that it drains over to here. So I'm hoping that I can pick up all of that water that drains. Now this didn't drain at all here during this rain, but that doesn't surprise me because we've had a drought. So all of this water here that gathers up, what I want it to do is flow down here, go through the new bell gate that I have, run through here, and then find its way down to here. Now, what I've decided to do is I've decided to go ahead and dig out underneath this fence and run a couple more swales down to here. You can see the cattle are gathered up just like this. So I'll have 3 swales that'll be running down in. Now these don't exist yet, but I'll go ahead and do them. But what did exist and what did work is right here, you can see there's a wet spot in the field, right through here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I put in that test pond right here. And so that test pond is in and it's successful. And I've got a little tiny ditch really that I just dug over to here, and it's topped off right now. So those are the things that I'm doing. I'm trying to gather up the water here and pipe it down a swale into the pond. So instead of this dried up pond, I'll have a filled one. Then this paddock will have a pond, that paddock will have a pond, and then this paddock, what I'll end up doing is dividing it out. There is a stream that runs through here, a ditch rather, that runs through here and dumps all the water into here, and then it all runs down to Butcher Creek. So what I want to do is I want to harvest that. So a couple of different things. Right now, this is spillway through into the garden, and then it'll run over to here and down. This thing, when it tops off, you could see that it runs this way. What I want to do is one final pond, and it will be a large pond that I'll build, and I'll build it over in this tree area. And I really want it to be a 2 or 3 acre pond so that I can capture as much water as possible. Now through the property, I have a swale that goes here already and one that runs through here. And they both dump out already right through these trees. It's where they go through into the creek. And so I'll be building this pond eventually. And I want it to be a couple acres pond, and I want it to be, I don't know, 18 feet deep. So with that, I'll have a pond, 1, 2, 3, because hopefully this thing will hold water. 3 ponds. And if I can get it filled up, I might even do, expand out the pond a little bit here. But first, let me dig it deeper and get these swales going so it doesn't go dry in the droughts. And then this pond, and then these swales here, they're working out pretty good. So all of the everything that I'll capture in these areas, all of that water that I'm going to capture in this area and run down this swale, will dump into that pond. I have to build these swales. They don't exist yet. This one and this one, and that fence row has got a wall built up along it, so the water kind of runs this way and is escaping into the creek like that. So anyway, that's what's going on in this little roundabout. So, the last thing that I did is down here, I'll put in white, I have the little stock tank that I put in, and it's only a little bit full, but that's a lot of different water solutions. And on 3 inches, I already picked up a little bit here, and I filled this off. This didn't work here, but it will, right? The theory is there. That one worked really well. This one is sort of kind of working, and that doesn't exist yet, but it will. So, and this doesn't exist yet. So really happy with the overall water plan. It might take me more than a year or two to get it done, but I will get it done. And then during the drought, July, August, September, October, I'll be digging each one of these ponds as I can go. The swales will be the first thing up here that I'll do because I've already started them. And I want to get seed back on the fields as soon as possible. So without that further ado, let me jump back into the video and you guys can watch the actual physical outcome of this game plan. All right, so as my mud beasts are showing here, we actually had some rain around here for a change. 3 inches is what my neighbors report. My weather gauge is not currently working. So what I will do is we'll go take a look at the pond. We'll take a look at some of my other materials. I got to pick up all of my wet boxes that the UPS guy just left on the side of the road without plastic bags. That's always pleasant. So let's take a look here. Now, one thing I did wrong was I did not get the salt block out of the water. So this is always a bummer when this happens, but I leave it evaporate. Dump oats in it, they still get the the salt lick out of there. But that looks, I'm underneath trees, so that's looking like 3 inches, right? Maybe even a little more if I look at that wheelbarrow. Now let's go take a look at some other things. Well, that looks pretty good for a no water garden. Nothing else grew in here. I found a composting place for me to go ahead and put compost over the top of that box. But let me tell you, it came too late to save my sunflowers. Either that or the horses got in there and ate them all. Not sure what happened there. Disaster in that sunflower field. I don't see anybody left. But they do look eaten rather than anything else. And I don't actually keep the horses out of that. It doesn't matter to me. But something got that. Wowee. Well, 3 inches is the magic number to take this from dry to filled right up. This looks really, really good. Man, this year was so dry. It went dry twice, so there won't be any frogs in here that I can think of unless they buried themselves in the mud. I'll go ahead and pull the weeds out of there. I don't like that one weed. Not half bad, everybody. So those have been, I'll get some pictures of this when it's dry so you all can appreciate. Now, I have seen this as a running water, and it runs this way. So what I'm doing here is from the pond, I'm going to make a swale, and I'm slowly working on it. And the swale will go around, and it'll go around here. And if you look there into the garden, you can see that I've got a swale beginning where the water will flow into the gardens and then out that way to a river. Looks really good. Oh my gosh, I might be able to make it this year for water for my horses without having to bother my poor neighbors anymore. That's really, really good. This side I put gypsum in it, and so this side ends up getting clear. And I might do the same thing to that pond. My chickens are out in the forest. All right, let's go ahead and get in my UTV and go and drive and see what else we've got going on here. All right, well, I'll tell you, this rain really changed my mood. I just can't do. In 5 months, we got like 2 inches of rain. I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm not built that way. And I grew up in Michigan where, land of lakes and it rains all the time. And I never have adapted to Texas. And to be honest, when I watch everything die that I plant, it gives me a heaping helping of depression. So I'm very much a creature of my atmosphere, very much connected to the land. And, it doesn't take much, just some rain to cheer me up and a full stock tank. This thing is working out, and I wondered if it would. That's just 3 inches. So if it rained a normal amount, I could dig this out even bigger and deeper and have I would still keep the front for the horses to wade into. So it's a ramp there, but the rest of this I would dig out pretty deep and pretty narrow. I'd try to retain as much moisture as I can. But this end of the house, I'm real happy with. I've got grass seed. I've got long stem, bluegrass to plant and some other things, natives. Grass seed here. I'll put it in the ground. It's supposed to maybe rain again this week. Now, I'm not declaring victory. I'm fully expecting to see, the drought continue through, July, August, September. But it was over 101 degrees in the summer here, and everything that I had was dying. The horses were having to hang around me all day long, and because the grass is too stringy when it doesn't get any moisture in it, and it's really hard to graze. So I was feeling their complaint. Anyway, I'm so much happier with this. Let's go up and we'll take a look at my test stock tank that I dug, as well as my swale that I put in to try to redirect more water. I don't know if it got enough rain for that or not, but we'll find out together. There's a whole herd of buzzards here. I don't know why. They're still roaming around. I don't see anything for them to be eating. Maybe they were just having a convention. That there is all of the cedar that I'll end up stripping for coyote fence. I'm just moved it out of my way so that the needles can fall off of it and I can go through. I also will run this over with my brush hog. I can run up to 3-inch size logs. So that's how I mulch it, right? So I'll turn that all into mulch. Made the field look a lot better. I did get grass head, so hopefully it'll reseed. The cattle haven't been out here because there's no water for them to drink. This stock tank I'm coming up to has been empty, and And the cattle, if they did use it, they would have had to tromp in the mud knee deep, and that's not safe. Yeah, yeah. So for reference, the pond used to be up to the bottom of that tree root right there, right? So it got a little water. It was all cracked and whatnot, but not nearly enough. Let me see if my swale works. Doesn't look like flowing water went into it. It looks like the idea might work. But I'm just going to have to cut it in deeper. Some shallow spots there. So that bit of rain wasn't enough to cause runoff here along that old Pioneer Road. That used to be a road that would go to a dip tank, as well as some other, go off into church or wherever it went. I don't know. So that feels like my pond idea there might work, but I'm going to require more than 3 inches of rain after 5 months of drought, right? Yeah, I don't see anything that happened. It just wasn't enough rain. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, looky there. Oh, that's a 4.5 foot hole. I'm going to take a look at it right now. Pretty excited. My idea did work. Like I say, that's a 4-foot test hole. Huh. Well, all right. Well, I'll scrape the land with my my little tractor, and I'll make a little half-acre pond here. All right. Wow, man, that would be awesome. I would have then 2 ponds. I'd have this pond, I would have that pond, and these paddocks, so each paddock would have a pond. Man, that is exciting stuff. All right, another success that I'm super happy about. Looky, you know, that was just a wild hair that I got that based on the lay of the land and how it ran into this arroyo over here. If I can hijack it and get it to come, and I could put a pond in here. And look, I did it. So the plan will be a similar size pond with a decent ramp for the cattle to come in, but narrow and deep in order to kind of keep as much water as possible. Now I'll be losing a little bit of pasture to this pond, but it'll more than make up for it, because I'll be able then to close off both paddocks, and then I can density graze each one, so the cattle and horses, they'll last a little longer. So my bell way down there, where I'm slowly working on the fence, I might get excited about and finish up. But now that it's cooler, I'll be back on the sawmill. I just couldn't handle the tin there, too hot. But this is super exciting. I feel like I've won. And you know, that's not a mud, just a mud puddle. That thing's 4 foot deeper. So I'll put some of the video of me digging that. Super exciting, man. I am happy about that. So, and so will the wildlife. They'll appreciate that little drinking spot, and so will the cattle. Just so happy. Well, I'm pretty happy with the results of what little bit of water collection I've got going on here. I've been working on it for a few years. The first year I wasn't out here living. I had an apartment. But I went and collected, you know, images and paid attention and came out. So my last bit of water is this tank. And Leah and I went ahead and repaired it. And it was dry. I can see that it's, gosh, not very full, just the 3 inches. Now, I was expecting to collect more water than that from here. But what I'll do is I'll get aluminum tape and I'll tape along the gutter and the convolution. I think I'm losing, you know, half the water through each one of the ridges and peaks of the corrugation. So I'll go ahead and tape that up so that I can capture more water. This was just all jury rigged right now temporarily. I found enough eaves to run the other side. I'll put a bulkhead here, rebuild this. I need this to be about half full so before I can go ahead and put the walls around it, because I'm expecting it to change shape once it gets filled with water. So I was hoping more would be in there than the 3 inches, but I'm grateful for the 3 that are there. I can see based on the bottom, there's water underneath it causing a little, you know, it can't burp out of there, etc., etc. But I'll just live with it the way it is. Once I get it full, then I can, you know, use this for agricultural, keep my gardens green, get some additional trees out here. That was destroyed in the storm. Destroyed. It was already torn up, but the roof was still there. So win some, lose some. But all that will be moved when I'm done with the sawmill area. I've got enough storage in there. I can move all of that. And so I'll get the sawmill all set up way back yonder. Working hard, doing a lot of different things, but when the heat is the way it is and it's over 101, and you know, you can't touch tin, and all I'm doing is working with metal, and it's hard for me to keep positive energy going. So, you know, I look for little jobs to do, like clearing a tree or something like that, working at the front on the gate, just little things like that, but they're not forward progress on the living arrangement. This year I've got high ambitions to get the real foundations underneath here, as well as the roof, etc., etc., etc. And daylight's burning, and we'll see if I can accomplish this. So a little bit of work here to do on the, you know, I want to make sure that this thing catches all the water it can and fills up. So I'll be working on that. I might cut across here and grab that one too and see if I can double up the capacity. I should be getting about 340 gallons per inch of rain off of there. And maybe, you know, that's a 5,000 gallon tank. So, you know, it takes a lot of water to fill it up. But I need it at least half filled so that the walls are pushed out so that I can earth bag it about and stucco it and, you know, not make it an eyesore. It's an eyesore. But it's an eyesore because I got to get that. I don't have any water out here. I'm a dry cabin. So I got to get that filled up with some water so that it's the right size. And then I can fix it up, make it look nice, fix up the bulkheads, you know, do these eaves. They're temporary too. So they're just up there with magnets. There's a lot of things to do, but I'm pretty excited about this bit of rain. I appreciate it much. Really changed my moods, and grateful to God because I complain. I have a relationship with God that's very vocal. And so, you know, I appreciate the rain being out here and fill it up, and hopefully it'll continue on.